I have been on the Ruby Franke rabbit hole recently because one, she was arrested not too far from where we live, and secondly, I grew up in the LDS community. I grew up with my only circle for the majority of my life being Mormon members. And so sadly, I am unsurprised by many of the methods that Ruby used to raise her children. Like many LDS people, she brought her children into a system where she believes, this is not all Mormons, she believes that respect and worth must be earned through several steps of self-abandonment, ignoring any humanness and abandoning that to earn worth. Ruby Franke, like many other Mormons, is addicted to the church, is addicted to the idea of saving their children's souls from the illusion of an enemy. And that enemy is the world. That enemy is what they think is in Hollywood, in social media, in the world. And so they use that as a reason to justify the extreme punitive measures that they take, which are things like cutting them off from the world, removing their devices, removing their friends, shaving their heads, taking away their food, their clothes, their bedroom, their door. And they continue escalating these punitive methods because they don't work. The kids continue to act out, and the parents use that as further evidence that their souls need to be saved. So they do even worse things. And what's very common within this community is wilderness camps, is taking these kids and putting them in the wilderness and further removing them from the world and neglecting their basic needs. And then they come back and they act out more. And it's, again, seen as a lack of church and praying and all of the things that we're taught are going to make these kids happy and make them behave. And then we have kids that are addicts. We have kids that are breaking the law. And instead of these types of parents, Ruby Franke, looking at the way that she's treated her children and manipulated them and neglected them as evidence as to why they are so desperately acting out and seeking attention and love and whatever they can get an ounce of, they say, oh, they were born inherently bad, and I needed to save them. I needed to do these things to make them better. And she's going to try to use that BS in court. And thankfully, the real world doesn't operate like that. There is never an excuse to not feed your children. There is never an excuse to tie your children up. And I'm not saying, again, that this exists in every LDS household, but the viewpoints are very, very common that led them here. The desperation and grasp for control is very common. The belief that kids need managing or this extreme control is very common. The only difference was Ruby broadcasted it to the world and everyone got to see it. And she got caught. And thank heavens for that. Because I don't know what would have happened to these children otherwise.